Hey folks, this is the second video in this particular section that talks about inverses. We already talked about the 5 interesting facts when dealing with the inverses. If you could please go all the way to page 4 in your notes. This is going to, I'm going to be referring to this how-to list several times. So if you would have this open, that would help you greatly as I'm going through the example that I'm going through. I'm not going to do the example number 9. I'm going to do example number 10 for the video. And for the record, the reason I'm choosing this example is that it is the more challenging example. So you may want to watch this video not only for class coming up, but you'll probably want to watch this video again after you also get some more instruction. So once again, I'm referring to the how-to list. And the very first thing in the how-to list is going to be that you want to change f of x into a y. So you see that I've rewritten the function, and instead of writing it with an f of x, I wrote it with a y. Second thing in your how-to list is it says that you should trade the x's and the y's. So you notice that all of my x's I wrote as y's, all of my y's I wrote as x's. And then the third thing says that I want to solve for the new y. Now the problem on this one is that I don't just have one single y. I have two y's that somehow I need to get them together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply on both sides by that denominator that I had. So you see that I'm multiplying my x by the quantity 5 minus y. The next thing I'm going to do is distribute my x to both of those terms inside that quantity. And now you'll notice I actually have 3 terms. I have the 5x term, the negative xy term, and the positive 3y term. 3 terms. 2 of those terms have a y in them, but the third term does not. So what I want to do is I want to separate those. I want y terms on one side and non-y terms on the other side. So I left the 5x by itself, and the xy I moved over to the other side by addition. Now I can factor the GCF out of those two. So my GCF is going to be a single y, and I can factor that GCF out. And now I have a single y to be able to get alone. So I'm going to divide on both sides by that quantity 3 plus x. And now that I have that y by itself, I can go to my how-to list, and step number 4 says don't leave it as a y. Make sure you change that y into an inverse so that we can notate that properly. So then what you see here in step number 4, this is the inverse of my function, whereas the original up here was my original function. These two are inverses of each other.